OPS, the Onuma Planning System, Workflows, BIM on Demand, Receiving a Request from a Client. BIM on Demand allows a client to fill in an Excel file with programming requirements and upload them through our website, and then it would be available to OPS editors to continue more detailed work. The Excel template is available on the website here. An example workflow: a client might actually use Google Earth to identify a potential site for a new project of offices, retail, supermarket, and parking. They would then download the OPS BIM on Demand template in Excel and start filling in the template with information about their project. This could include 3 buildings to any level of detail. They could be very rough, just a few lines, or room by room like this. So in this case, we filled in 3 buildings, identified the building number in the Excel template on the left, and how many floors there are, and what rooms are on each floor. This would start to build the project using just Excel data. This Excel template would then be saved and uploaded through the Browse button on our website. Optionally, the client could also identify a site like this in Google Earth. There's just by a few clicks of defining the polygon and saving it as a KML file and uploading that. Additional project information could be typed into this box, and then you would upload to the server, the OPS server. The OPS editor, the Onuma Planning System Workflows. The editor would then be able to open up the project that came in from the client in an Excel format, and this is what it would look like. The shape of the site that came from Google Earth would be like this. The Excel template would import a series of 7 buildings, if we define them in the template with 7 buildings along the bottom like this. They obviously are not resolved yet on the site, but then when you look at this in 3D in Google Earth, you can see the massing, the initial massing of the buildings that was automatically created from Excel. This can be changed by taking in another Excel template and trying different variations of floors, and it would automatically generate a new geometry. Each of these geometries in Google Earth have all the data that was input in Excel, so essentially you're creating a building information model and a Google Earth model automatically from Excel. This is what we call BIM blobs. They are not designed yet, but they're very close to some initial ideas of what would work. By uploading the file to the BIM on Demand website, the client would instantly be able to generate calculations, including cost and energy calculations, if the data was entered. This is regardless of if the buildings are designed and put on the site, because you have all the data about the requirements. Therefore, you can start doing a lot of what-if analysis as the design progresses. The OPS editor, the architect in this case, could then continue in OPS and do more refined designs like this, and move the buildings on the site, change the shape of them and the blocking and stacking, and generate new types of analysis, and even export them at this point, or even in the rough stage, through IFCs to building information models such as Revit and ArchiCAD, which would automatically populate the BIM with the requirements that originally started in Excel. So within a few minutes you get a lot of very rich data that can be used in many different programs, including this view in Google Earth now. The buildings are resolved, exported from OPS, or network linked and automatically generated the calculations of the square footage, the volume of the building, and how they fit on the site. You could rapidly see if buildings would fit on the site, the property lines as shown, and try a different version of this, and you could therefore try many different variations. Just like in Excel, you could recalculate things. This is essentially a 3-dimensional Excel template. The Onuma planning system used in a simple building with OPS editor. The task is to design a train station here, and we would start with a simple Excel file that defines the program requirements. This is for a very simple building, but it could be a much larger building like we showed earlier. Take the KML file from Google Earth, define the property line or the bounding area, export that and import it into OPS, which would automatically generate the shape of the site. Import the Excel template, and it would automatically generate the bubble diagram views of spaces, including their right proportion and square footage, which then the editor could move into position and try different variations and export it back to Google Earth to see what it looks like. The other option is to take the exact same file from OPS and export it through IFCs to desktop BIM applications like Revit and ArchiCAD. In this case, we're showing Revit. Opening up that same IFC file in Revit, all the spaces are exactly the same size they were in OPS, including the attributes, the space names, the room number, any other attributes, including the floor-to-floor heights if this was a multi-floor building. So we essentially